Welcome to the exceptional portion of the Intro to Gothic Limited card ranking video. My name is Portland Stew. I've been playing a lot of Limited since Gothic came out, as much as I possibly can. Sealed and draft, and we're just busting out a quick and dirty 3 weeks into Gothic ranking of all of the ordinaries, and now in this video the exceptionals in the set. And before we start digging into all of the spells and atlas sites, we got to talk about the avatars. There's 4 avatars that come at the exceptional level. So they're pretty common to see one of these in a sealed pool or in your draft packs. You know, I've often seen one, but not always. You know, you can't count on getting one of these guys, but with the exception of one, all of these are really strong avatars that if you can pull off building a deck for them, you'd rather play them over Spellslinger. The exception is Harbinger. It doesn't give you a card advantage. It basically gives you 3 random locations that you can summon minions to, and the first minion you summon to one of those locations each turn gets a discount of 1. I will still probably pack one, pick one a Harbinger when I get the chance and try and build a Harbinger deck, but it just probably isn't good. I don't really believe in it. And so I'll use the Harbinger to introduce my ranking system. We've got aces, queens, 7s, 2s, and jokers. Kind of thinking in terms of cards that if you have a pair of in poker, how high are you going to bet, right? So aces are cards that if you pick one them out of a pack, you're really stoked. They're great cards. Often will be pack one, pick ones. Queens are cards that are almost always going to make your deck unless you get a crazy number of them. Really excited to see them in your sealed pool. Will pull you towards a color based on how many queens you have in a given element is kind of how you can decide which way to go in your sealed pool a lot of the time. 7s are playables. They're cards that you're not gonna pick over anything else that's playable, but it might go in your deck. You won't be sad to play it, but you won't be excited to. And 2s are basically don't play them. And then I have the Joker section for special cards that in certain build around decks are playable and might even be really good, but in a general, you know, in just any old deck are probably 2s or 7s. So yeah, for the avatars, we've got the Persecutor, my personal favorite of the avatars to play in Limited. When you get a Persecutor, you want to build a low to the ground deck. I usually go for a maximum of 4 mana for the cost of my spells. Persecutor basically gets to move towards evil for free and can also brand things as evil, which combos really well with certain cards in the set. But he's 2 power is the big thing to notice about him, and so he's basically a removal. You can use him to clear out minions, and in Limited, that is so valuable. I would definitely pack one, pick one, a Persecutor. It's great board state. Savior. My most recent draft, I managed to get Savior in my first pack. Pack one, picked one, the Savior, and drafted into the Savior. And I have never gone undefeated with so cleanly. I guess I would say, like, the Savior pack one, pick one was crazy. I just was able to pick all of the wardable minions I could. Built a really easy to synergize deck with the Savior, and just makes your minions so sticky. There were still a lot of incredible decks on the field, and by no means was it an easy draft. Like, many of the games were still close, but the value that you can get out of the Savior, if you can get enough non-evil minions, I would go for a minimum of 6, ideally 8 or more. And then Necromancer is just broken good. It gets you so much value. Its body's on the board every turn. Necromancer tends to draw out the games long. Gothic is definitely has a tendency towards longer, grindier games. So that's my rankings of the exceptional avatars. Now let's get to the real topic of this video, the elements. I'm going to try and keep this quick, and we're going to try and do it in one shot. So, you know, I'm not an experienced content creator. I'm sure more experienced content creators will make better versions of this sort of list, especially further down the road when we have more experience to go off of. But just so we got something to watch over the holidays, Witching Hour. This gives your evil, spellcaster, and spirit allies airborne and +1 power this turn. It's a super playable card in your necromancer decks and the decks that like to swarm. But at the end of the day, this is a card that doesn't inherently solve a problem or create a threat on its own. It only works in combination with other cards. So I'm going to put it at 7. It's something that will go in many decks. It could easily be called a Joker card too. But I'm happy to pick this up, pick 9, pick 10, but probably not much before that unless I know I'm building into it. I could be very wrong about this. This is one of those cards that maybe we'll learn more about later. And it's worth saying air, I think, is probably, you know, and other people have said this before me. I'm not being original, suggesting that air is the weakest in limited in Gothic. So then we have Undead Ambush. This gets you usually 4 skeletons for 3 mana. So that's 4 power for 3. That's pretty good if you ask me. I mean, there's some mass removal stuff that can just neutralize this, but I like Undead Ambush. I'm basically always going to play it if I'm in air. Put it at Queen. Those Who Linger. So, if you watched the previous video, you know 3 power is really important in Gothic, making your minions lean towards 3 power over 2 power, but any bodies you can get with 4 or more power are great. Those Who Linger, 6 mana for a 4 power body would still be playable almost in this set, but this isn't just a 4 power body. It's a 4 power, then a 3 power, then a 1 power. So you're really paying 6 for 8 power that just comes in waves. This is a super good card. I would almost put it at A. I would not be super bummed to pack 1, pick 1 it, but I would be a little bummed if I was pack 1, pick 1ing it, so I'll put it at a high Queen. Stygian Archers. These guys really run the board when they're around. Like, a ranged 3 power for 3 has been around forever in Sorcery. It's always kind of a solid Queen level, you know, minion, but Stygian Archers go the extra mile. Like, this threat of creating a body when they kill something really makes them feel very imposing on the board. They create a lot of tempo. Another card that, especially later in the rounds, if I know I'm in air, I find myself pack 3, pick 1ing this pretty easily, I think. Great card, but we'll still just put it as high in the Queen section. It's not super excited to pick 1 it. Skeleton Mage, another great value card. This is exceptional. I mean, we're into the good cards now. You get to cast an ordinary spell out of your cemetery. The body doesn't do that much, though, and to me, recasting an ordinary spell, how much, like, is it worth a sort of useless 1 power body to pay 2 and get to recast something out of my cemetery? It's good. I'm honestly going to put Skeleton Mage in the playable, but not a staple. I wouldn't always slam it in every deck. It seems kind of crazy, but I stand by it, honestly. I would much rather draw another spell that I want to play, something new. And it's only ordinary magic, so, I mean, there's a lot of good ordinary removal, but I can't recast my Kiss of Death with the Skeletal Mage. Order of the Pale Worm, 3 mana for 3 power. That's easily a queen, but it's not a sort of inching towards being an ace. Nearby sites and units lose ward. This will be useful on occasion, but it's very circumstantial. When it helps, it's great. I mean, you love all of these order cycle 3 power minions are always going in your deck, unless you're Savior or something for this one. Kiss of Death. Great removal. Kills anything. You have to be here, but it's a spirit or undead. This might be... I'm going to put Kiss of Death in the aces. I feel a little crazy not putting those who linger in the aces and putting this in it, but it's hard removal. And that's just so useful in this game. Unconditional, aside from location. The Hollow One. Disabled until a mortal or beast dies nearby. Don't play it. And this card is so bad. Like, I'm sure there's ways to make this playable, but there's too many hoops to jump through. It's a 4 power body, but a 4 power body that might never do anything. Hauntless Head. He's 2 power, but jumps around. I'm going to put Hauntless Head in the don't play it too. Basically Headless Haunt, but Headless Haunt is 3 for a 4 power, which is incredible, and this is 1 for a 2 power. 2 powers are, you want 4 or 5 of them in your deck, and that's not even kind of one of the good ones you'd want. Gibbous Night Gaunts. It's a 3 for 3 with nothing but upside. I mean, obviously you need double air threshold. A lot of the exceptionals in Gothic are threshold greedy, but a very solid queen card. Desecrate. So this one, I'm a little low on Desecrate. You don't have to have drafted Desecrated Ground for this to work, which is great. And you're gonna sort of get 1 minion worth of damage and maybe mess up their threshold, but it's not removal and it's not a minion and it's not even really a combat trick, right? Like, you're not gonna kill something, like, this isn't gonna help you get rid of anything, it's not gonna help you kill an avatar on death's door, and it's not bodies on the board. I would put it in some decks though, especially if I didn't have better cards. I'll put this in the Joker category. Desecrate's, you strike the site and then you turn it into Desecrated Ground, which makes your evil minions stronger when they're there. So definitely in a super evil deck, this can feel pretty good. And being able to mess up your opponent's threshold can't be underestimated in the limited format, but not going in just any old deck. Carionet. Summon an undead minion from a cemetery to a nearby location. I'm putting Carionet. I would not draft Carionet unless, I guess you can put it in the Joker section again. Like, if you have a really undead-centric deck, you're going to get to recast Those Who Linger or Stygian Archer, and that feels pretty good, but it's only good if you can really build around it. We're going to say the exact same thing with Bone Jumble. Bone Jumble is shockingly good in a Necromancer deck. Like, being able to just generate a skeleton and then immediately pay 1 to give it charge, basically, means that you have sort of a little, almost like you have a 1 damage projectile slingshot on your avatar once you have Bone Jumble in your cemetery. So it pays out pretty good, but you need the skeletons, right? So it's definitely just a bit like, if you get Necromancer, Bone Jumble is great. If you don't, then it's probably not worth it. It's a 1 power minion. Bladder Blimp. So this airborne minion has a death right where players lose 1 life for each nearby site they control. 5 mana for 3 power airborne. 3 power airborne is great, don't get me wrong. Unlimited airborne comes in super handy. But that's not what you want your 5 drops to do. I would put it in decks when I don't have better cards to play, but I'd much rather be slotting in a Vesper Swarm as my 5 cost airborne. This is a 5/4 airborne, that's what you're looking for. And it's got this little upside that on occasion will give you some movement, which is always really good in Sorcery Limited and Sorcery in general. Vesper Swarm, definitely a solid queen. You're going to play it in any deck that has the threshold for it. Bitter Departed. This one, most of the time, I'm leaning away from 2 power minions, but this is a 2 power minion that doubles as removal, and I have seen it do great things. You know, Bitter Departed can deal a death blow too. It just, you get to pick, like if you had multiple minions die last turn, you can pick which one to have Bitter Departed hit. There's a lot of things you can pull off with this card. It's just super flexible, and its floor is just being a 2 for 2. So it's one of the best 2 drops in the game, basically, in my opinion. Avenging Angel, 4 mana for 3 power airborne, has charge and lethal if an ally died last turn. I'm not sad to pack one. Or I'm sad to pack one, pick one Avenging Angel, but pack 3 if I'm in air, I'm probably pick one-ing Angel. She's often 4 mana, kill anything, right? And if you're not using her for that, then she's just a 4 mana for a 3 power flyer, which is great on its own. And this ability lingers, right? So if she's on the board and then on a subsequent turn a minion dies, she gains charge and lethal for now. Charge obviously won't mean anything, but she's really a powerhouse. Super handy removal that sticks. So that's my rankings of the spells and air. Yeah, those who linger really might deserve to be up in the aces. We've got Mountain Peaks. So for the sites, I'll just say this once on this one and try not to say it for each element, but I generally, with the exception of one site we're about to look at, which has a companion in every element, I won't pick sites above a queen level card ever, but if I'm on track for the playables I need, I will pick sites above 7s and definitely above 2s. Mountain Peaks, really lovely, definitely a queen level when it comes to sites. It is so nice to just have your 2 threshold with one site. You see this in your opening hand, and then you mulligan all your other air sites to get the other thresholds you need. It's so good. Forsaken Crypt, this is a packed one, picked one card. All of these are. There's one in each element. It has the Genesis that you can cast a 3 mana, 3 power minion out of your collection. You don't have to have drafted that minion. So it's almost like, sort of imagine if this were a minion, that it was a minion that said that was a 3 mana, 3 power minion with 2 air thresholds, draw a site. Draw and play a site, maybe, right? Like, imagine a 3/3 Kettletop Leprechaun that also played the site and was on Genesis. So freaking good. I am pretty happy to pick a card like this, especially in later packs. Desecrated Ground gives evil +1 power. This can hurt you more than it helps you a lot of the time. I often hesitate to play Desecrated Ground because it's my site, so it's more likely to be used against me than to use by me. Yeah, I basically don't want to play Desecrated Ground. I won't draft it really in almost any circumstance. Dark Alley, the first minion that enters here gains Cell. Super handy, you know, you play it and then you play a minion to it. Not game winning, but definitely useful. And Fields of Pixis, I would put this as a 7 level site. Disabling sites in limited where people don't have like the cream of the crop for their sites just isn't as useful as you want it to be. Like every once in a while this comes in super handy, but most of the time it's not better than a Spire. And if you end up playing it on your back row, you can kind of screw yourself. So that's where I land on the air cards. Definitely, I don't know, Angels, Forsaken Crypt, Those Who Linger, Stygian Archers, and Kiss of Death. Those are the ones to really look out for, and the air exceptionals, in my opinion. Let's go grab our fire. One, you can pick up. Okay, so fire spells. First off, Wrath Breathed in Righteousness. Area of effect damage spells in Gothic are rare. There's not even one in every element. The two that come to mind are Breathed in Righteousness and Holy Nova. This is an A tier card. If there's not a better pick one, I would not be sad to pack one, pick one this, and definitely if I'm in fire further down the list, I'll pick one it. It occasionally has not made my lists, actually, in my early rounds of Limited, and I think that was a mistake. But it does, you know, it's sort of hard to aim it sometimes, and it's got, you know, it's not Poison Nova, I guess, is what I'll say, but it's the closest thing we got. Zeppelin of Zealots. The big thing about this to notice is the 3 fire threshold. That can be painfully limiting. But if you think you can handle the threshold on it, super playable. I would not want to be pick one-ing this, even though it's a 4 power warded airborne card, just because of the threshold greed. Like if I pack one, pick one this, and then, you know, it's so possible that you're not going to be able to run it. But it's definitely a queen that's inching towards an ace. Slobbermaw. Sacrifice a minion or Slobbermaw deals 4 damage to you on Genesis. He's a 4 power for 3 though. I'm on the line about Slobbermaw, but I think any 4 power minion is going in my deck basically. So this is better than, say, the air minion that's 5 mana for 4 power that hits you for 4 damage, or you discard a card. If you get some skeletons or frogs to sack to this, you're feeling great. Sinterfey. This card is so good. It doesn't look like much, but especially when you're in fire, there's a good chance you're trying to be a little more aggressive, a little faster, lower to the ground. Sinterfey can stall out your opponent. So, like, the number of times in these 3.5 weeks of limited Gothic that Sinterfey has slowed down my opponent by multiple turns is shocking. Like, you take the threshold away from one of their sites. Usually they're playing 2 elements, so you hit the site that is an element they only have 1 threshold of, and all of a sudden half the cards in their deck are unplayable for a turn or two. I usually like to just run away with her to the back line after I disable stuff too. Though often I don't, because I just get greedy and I want to push damage. Searing Truth. This card is one of the cards that everyone freaked out about when it showed up in the spoilers. I am unlikely to pick one this card, and I'm putting it at 7. I don't care who knows. It's great to Deathblow with it. Like, there's no doubt about it. It can be an incredible Deathblow card, incredible Dooring card too. Like, if you know you're 1 or 2 damage short of Dooring them on the board, this can get you there. And paying 3 to draw 2 and take some damage, that's pretty good, right? Like, that is card advantage, which is great and limited, but it slows you down and you take a bunch of damage to do it. And I have had this in my hand and known I couldn't play it because I was in a race with the opponent where we're roughly even, and I know that I can't spend a turn just drawing some cards and doing nothing and taking damage, right? Because we don't, in Constructed, it's so good because you're going to draw a game-changing, board-wiping, incredible card with this, maybe. But in Limited, you're probably just drawing, a Centerfey at best, and wouldn't you rather this just were a Centerfey? Redmane Hyena, I'm going to put this down here too. I mean, if you know you're building a demon deck, then this is often a 2 mana for 4 later in the game. That's pretty good. I mean, it's a high 7, but playing the Graveyard Hate's not that big a deal. It can help. Like, Redmane's almost always going in my deck, but I rarely see it pull off being 4 power. There's not quite, like, if you're in a demon, if you're in, like, Water Fire, Redmane could easily be a queen, but I'm going to call it a 7 here. Now destroys a site it occupies and all artifacts here. That's a 2. It looks cool. It's definitely going to be super powerful in some constructed decks, but spending a card to destroy a site, spells are worth more than sites in Limited, I've said. Kamosine Mummy, just a solid 3 mana for 3. The single threshold is great. Every once in a while, you'll re-trigger a Bloom or something with its ability. I've seen people almost use his ability, but I've never actually seen someone use it. But it's a super solid, definitely going to go in any deck that can fit it. Hot Wheel. That's Hot Wheels going right into the A's. This card, 4 mana for 2 power doesn't sound great, but it's 4 mana for 2 power plus 2 instances of 2 damage, right? So if it was a 4 mana to shoot 4 1 damage projectiles, you'd always play that, right? And then you also get a 2 power body at the end. Hot Wheels deals the death blow. It's just a great card. Definitely has been my game-winning card in games before. Flagellant might as well just be a vanilla 2 for 2. I'll put him in the 7s. I mean, a 2 for 2 with a little bit of upside is playable if you need it for your 2-drop spot, but almost every other 2-drop you're going to put above it. Harpian Urge. An ally flies to target weaker minion and strikes it upon arrival. So this is one that has not made... I've not yet played it. I think I put it in one sealed deck. It looks really strong to me, but it also doesn't function on its own, right? And in limited, you got to evaluate cards, thinking like, does this card do something if you don't have something else to make it work, right? Like Red Mane Hyena is really good if you have these other things to make it work. Harpy and Urge, you're probably going to have a minion. Is it going to be stronger than one of their minions? I don't know, but it also serves as incidental removal. Like, I'd run it in almost any deck that could run it unless I already had plenty of really strong removal, which there's a lot of in this set, honestly. I mean, not enough that you would pass on removal when you see it, usually. Like, I'll probably pick this above Red Mane Hyena or Slobbermaw or maybe even Kamacine Mummy, depending on how my minion versus magic count is looking. Fallen Angel, 4 mana for 3 power airborne. That would slap it right into Queen without anything else. Giving demons +1 power. Yeah, great bonus when it does something. It often doesn't do something, but I have seen it come into play and be really frustrating. And he's hard to get rid of because he's airborne. Not quite an A. I wouldn't ever want to pick him unless I was building a demon theme deck. Accusation. Target opponent reveals their hand and banishes a card. If any of their cards or allies are evil, you may choose which. So you're almost always going to get to choose which card to banish with this. This means it's a 1-for-1, but it's a 1-for-1 for something that's not on the board yet. And I don't love that. I'm going to put it as a high 7. Like, sometimes you're going to snipe someone's crazy bomb before they get to play it with this, but it's not dealing with a problem that's on the board, and spending a turn attacking your opponent's hand rather than their board state is just not what you want to do in limited. Barging Barghest, a 3 power for 3 with all the movement +1 and Void Walk. Yeah, slam it in any deck. Not gonna pick 1 it or even probably pick 2 or 3 it if I can find better cards, but definitely super playable. Gonna go in any deck it fits in. Be Gone, banish an evil minion anywhere in the realm. This is the opposite of Accusation. This is hard removal. Almost all of the big bombs in the set are evil. If you get this in a Persecutor deck, it's literally kill anything, anywhere. I'm putting it as an ace. I would probably pick 1 to Be Gone. I mean, it's a low ace. I'd pick it below Hot Wheels. I don't know though. I might pick it above Reason Righteousness. It's pretty good. And Corruptor Freak, 3 mana for a 3 power. It's gonna hit you for 2, but then if it gets onto their side, it starts doing 2 a turn to them. Stuff doesn't stick that well in limited, so I really like this card in constructed. In limited, I'm a little lower on it. It's still probably I'll probably play it if I get it, but I'm not actually drafting it super high. This is like a low queen. Then we get to the sites. Molten Mar, exactly like the Forsaken Crypt from before. You get a 3 power for 3. It's card advantage. Bodies on the board. It's everything you want. I'll pack 1, pick 1 that any day of the week. Road to Perdition. Target nearby evil gains or loses 1 power this turn. It's fine. You can sometimes be a nice combat trick. I'll put it as a low queen. River of Blood, terrible and limited. Obviously, you're going to play it in every constructed deck, but halves healing's not really a thing in limited. And then the Volcano, another one of these double thresholds, super playable, really awesome when you get it. You're not going to pick it above playables usually unless you hit your targets already, but great card. Love to see it in a sealed pool where you're playing fire. Okay, we're jetting through these. Next up, we've got the water card. We're moving through the elements from weakest to strongest. We're starting off with a good one in water. Winter Nymph. Stealth, whenever another minion is summoned nearby, tap it. Yeah, this is a queen. It's almost an ace. It's so annoying. They almost can never remove it. If they don't have a way to remove it, you get it onto their home site and everything. It's an ace. Winter Nymph. I'll pick one. If I'm in water and we're on to pack 2 or 3, it's an easy pick one for me if there's not one of the other crazy good water cards. Wave of Eviction. I've heard it's making a splash in Constructed recently, but for limited, I mean, it's movement. I'll maybe put it in Joker. Basically, it's like the snowball spell, except it doesn't do any damage. It just moves everything in a cardinal direction from a water site. But that can really slow down. I mean, yeah, it's this card. I want to mess around with this more in limited. I'm just going to put it at a 7. I think it'll go in a number of decks, but it's not going to go in every deck. Order of the Sacred Oak, just a 3/3 ward. So strong. I mean, its other ability doesn't even really matter in limited. It might come in handy every once in a while, but 3 power for 3 with ward is so sticky, so useful. Often going to get to kill something with it. Yeah, top of Queen. No Monitor, Submerge, Voidwalk, 3/3. Not much to say about that. It's a solid 3/3. 2 pips is a little frustrating. Monster Morphosis, the coolest card that you'll never play in limited. Technically, this can turn anything into a horrible hybrid in limited. So it's almost playable if you've got like Necromancer or something like that, where you pay 3 to shapeshift a skeleton. But even then, you're only playing this in the direst of situations. We'll put it in the Joker just because it's such great flavor. Mimic. This is another card that I hear people talking about for Constructed, but I haven't seen it played yet. In Limited, you don't want to play this. It's 4 mana for a 2 power. Artifacts aren't that big of a deal, but if they do have an artifact, this is effectively a 4 mana for a 2 power that destroys their artifact and comes into play with charge. So that's pretty cool. But don't play it. This is limited. Heretics of Seth. It's nice that it's got only a single water threshold, so it's easy to play. It can steal a ward. Like I said, that ward is not as common as you would think, but it comes up from time to time, and when you get to use this, you feel great. Otherwise, it's just a super solid 3/3. Harkening Kraken must be cast Submerge and costs 1 less for each enemy in its body of water. This card in Constructed is kind of bad, but in Limited, I would play it in basically any deck that's more than half water, or that's at least half water, because you're going to get to play it for 5, probably even for 4, and it's a 5 power minion, and 5 power minions are the gold standard. They really are. There's not a lot of things that can handle them. Swap is so good in Constructed. In Limited, it's still pretty good. I'm going to play Swap in a lot of decks, but this is soft removal rather than hard removal, right? Like, usually you can find a way to swap and kill something, but the board has to be set up for it, and that's the downside. Same with Abyssal Assault. This is, I think, a really cool card if you've got a deck built to use it. If you're running enough monsters that you're pretty confident you'll get to use this as a hard removal or death blow card. Definitely worth playing, but I'm not going to pick it super high unless I'm already 6 or 7 monsters deep on my card pool. I'll put it as a low 7. So maybe, actually, let's just put it as a joker. If you got monsters, lots and lots of monsters, you can play it. Demon Hunter. Kill target adjacent demon, 2 mana for 2 power. Finally, the playable hunter. Still just a 7. It's a 2 power minion whose upside is incredible, but you're not going to hit it very often. But when you do, man, you're stoked. This card looks incredible in foil too. I have to say, I saw one of those recently. So beautiful. And yeah, I mean, I know I'm going to rank Gravedigger higher. Maybe I will put this. This is, of all the 2 for 2s, this is one of the ones I'm really happy to play. It's just water. You have so many 3 powers. Why even play a 2 power? Dredge, 2 mana, get 2 skeletons is how I think of this. It's a 2 power for 2, basically, with a little upside. You can use this in combo with your Harkening Kraken or some of the other stuff that comes in, a Shogoth that gets summoned in underwater or things like that. So it's playable. You're not going to slam it in every deck, but I think it's actually, when I first saw this, I thought, oh no, this is terrible, but it's still 2 power for 2, plus gives you some movement tricks, and anything that sort of changes the state of the board in an unexpected way is strong. Estranged Loner. So good. This is effectively 5 power for 3 mana, because when it dies, you get a 3 power minion for free. It's great. Estranged Loner, play it. I would definitely pick one in a pack if I knew I was in water. Probably not pack 1 unless it was a really, I don't know. I think there's actually a lot of packs that I've seen where this would be my pack 1, pick 1, because they can be really hit and miss. Veiled Mutation, a 4 power for 4, live in the dream, and then it can't be targeted or damaged by magic. This is such a good card. I mean, it's rare that's not my pick 1 if I see that in pack 1, right? Like, there's got to be something really good in the elite or unique slot to beat out Veiled Mutation. Feigned Death, a 3 mana cantrip that triggers a death right and grants stealth. Should probably go in the Joker slot, but because it's a cantrip, I'll put it in the 7s. It'll be playable in a lot of decks. You're not sort of hunting for it. You're not going to pick it super high unless you've gotten like 3 Estranged Loners already or something. Unless you've got a bunch of death right to trigger already. 4 Fat Frogs, 4 0 power minions. Just don't play it. I don't think it's good. It's such awesome art and such a cool idea, and probably going to be great in certain decks and constructed, but it's 0 power for 4. Just remember that. Frozen Horror, definitely super playable queen level card. You're gonna be able to disable something the turn you play it usually, so it's sort of a 3 power body with this disable Nova effect attached to it, which you can definitely use to some great effect. Yeah, almost always gonna play it if I have it, but it's not gonna push me hard into water if I see it or something like that. Gnarled Wendigo. You get this in a Necromancer deck. You're playing it on turn 3 and running the game, but it's also just a 5 power minion. There's a lot of token generation in this set. I'm going to put it, I don't know, in constructed, it's definitely one of the top tier cards. I'm actually going to just put it as a high queen. That 6 cost, like if you don't have some sort of like trivial source of minions to sacrifice, like being a necromancer or having the site that generates frogs or whatever, it's, you know, it's still, you know, I'm going to play it in almost any deck, but I probably won't pack one it, to be honest. I mean, I will if there's not something better, like always. Peculiar Port, the same thing. Gets you the 3 power minion. We know these are incredible. Mudslide. Slide all units at land sites in this column 1 step left or right. I'll put it in my deck. I haven't seen it do great things yet, but I know it will when it gets used right. Thin Ice. This is a cool card. It's incredible and constructed when you compare it with a Koi Nixie or something. At the end of your turn, minions atop of it, if they total 5 or more power, submerge them. Important to note, it's at the end of only your turn, so you're going to decide the state of affairs atop this site. So you don't have to worry too much about your opponent sort of using this against you, unless they get a strong, like, if they get a Kraken on it, now all of a sudden it's hard to deal with their Kraken, I guess. But when I first saw this, I thought it was a bigger downside than it actually is. It's mostly upside. And Deep Sea, we love these double threshold sites. And there we go, we've powered through water. We're going to keep moving at a clip. Try and keep this video under an hour. I don't think we're going to make it, but we're going to try. Now, the mightiest of the Gothic elements. Earth. It is Earth, led by the Zombie Bruiser. The pack one, pick one to pick one them all. Zombie Bruiser. 4 mana for 4 power that can be resummoned. That's crazy. I mean, if you get that in a Necromancer, you're probably going to win the draft or sealed event you're at. Town Priest. Genesis, return target adjacent evil minion to its owner's hand. I just would never play this card, I don't think. Like, there might be a world in which you... But no. You're always going to have better 2-drops. That, yeah, it's just not useful. Rowdy Boys. The single threshold on this is great. It's a 3 for 3 with a real nifty upside. It feels great clearing out 2 skeletons and then hitting for 3 with Rowdy Boys. Yeah, this card has... I've had it put in work in decks I've made. If a minion would be summoned nearby and it wasn't cast from hand, banish it. Another 3 mana, 3 power ward, super playable. Its ability can be really handy. You might want to be cautious about it, but you can move it out of the way of hurting your stuff if you need to. And yeah, just super solid. Next up, we've got Necropotence. He gives a minion, an undead minion or ally, but minion, plus 3 power this turn. I'm almost never going to run this card. I mean, we'll put it in the Joker. If you're running a undead deck, it's maybe playable, but even then, you're spending a card. You'll probably be able to kill something without, like, you know, it's almost, yeah, in a true undead deck, it's basically removal, but it's still not true removal, right? You've got to have the card to make it work already on the board. 2 for 2 that can ward a wounded minion or heal 2. It's a decent 2-drop. It's not even one of the better 2-drops. It's rarely going to make the deck unless your Savior. Intrepid Hero, on the other hand, is always making the deck. Lethal to evil. This card is one of those. He's the Stygian Archer to me of Earth, where he's just a 3 power for 3, but he really makes your opponent have to think hard and, work around him. Such a good card. And then Holy Nova, our other area damage spell. You're almost guaranteed to get a 2-for-1 on this. It clears a bunch of skeletons. Holy Nova is, I think, a great card. It can sometimes be hard to line it up. It only hits enemies, but it hits all enemies, so this can deal the death blow. And it won't hurt your minions, unlike Breathed in Righteousness. So I'm slamming Holy Nova as a pick 1 in many packs. Next up, we have the Guardian Angel. Genesis, fly to a weaker allied minion to ward it. It's a 4 mana for 3 power airborne. That's obviously a queen. The flying to a weaker allied minion can occasionally be annoying, because then you can't position it. Like, this isn't you may fly, this is you must fly. So that can be annoying sometimes, and sometimes you can't even ward it, but you still have to fly there, right? But it's still a great card. Gonna go in any deck it can fit in. Here it is, the Gravedigger. This is why I pushed up the Demon Hunter. The Gravedigger is better to me. It's a top tier 2-drop because a lot of the time, like it feels this way. I haven't done the research, but I think undead is the most common creature type in this set. Like, even if you just use this to get rid of a skeleton, that's upside, right? And its floor is just a 2-for-2, but this is, I think, the high tier 2-for-2. It's wardable if you happen to be in Savior too, which is pretty nifty. Exhume, exactly like Dredge, 2 mana for 2 power, basically, but it also can partner with some of your burrowed stuff, things like the 2 mana 3 power that has to be cast Burrow, which is an ordinary in Earth. So I think Exhume's going to make a lot of decks. I'm pretty happy to pull it, pick 10 if I can get it, but I won't pick it super high. Enduring Faith. Ward an allied minion until your next turn. It takes damage for its nearby allies instead. This has ended up in a lot of my sealed pools, and I've put it in a deck once or twice and then pulled it out in the next round because, like, it can't, like, it feels like, oh, I should be able to use this to sort of get a free removal, but I still spent a card to sort of have my minion be able to attack and not take damage. There's definitely a ceiling to this where it does crazy things, but its floor is basically just like ward a minion, spend a card to ward a minion. I'm going to even put it in the don't play category. Okay, we'll put it over the Joker. If you've got, you've got some bonds too, I don't know. Like, you can use this in combination with, say, a low-powered lethal minion to sort of let your lethal minion attack something without dying, but it's so hard to set up. Kroll Morlocks. This is just a classic 3-for-3 with some nice movement abilities to make it a little better. It's going to go in most decks it can fit in, but nothing special, nothing to write home about. Death Knight. This guy gives all your undead +1 power. He's 4 cost for 3 power. There's so much undead in the set. I'm gonna put it in the queens. I think I'm usually taking this card if I see it and I'm in Earth, unless I know I'm like specifically trying to avoid undead because I'm Savior or something. Just a lot of upside, and it's still a 3 power body even if it's overcosted a little. Consecrate, so bad, don't play it. Ward a site, make it a consecrated ground. Consecrated ground is way more useful because like defensively it's making their stuff have no power, like as opposed to desecrated ground, which often makes your opponent stronger on your sites. Or in any case, I still think it's not really worth playing. It's not removing a minion inherently, not dealing a death blow, it's not a body on the board, it's not even a movement trick. Bind Evil, this one I was really low on early because I thought, like, they just get to tap a spellcaster to release it. But you usually do this to their minion that's on your, like, I've had my minion get hit by this and spent 3 turns walking my avatar over to release my minion. Like, this card is shockingly good and it's so cheap. It's pretty playable. I'd put it in most decks, to be honest. It's not true removal, but man, like a lot of times you can double spell where you get to remove something. It's great. I love Bind Evil. And then Bitten, the other card that when I first saw this, I thought, oh man, they get a skeleton? Like, this stinks. But strike a nearby evil? Like, this is just like Gravedigger, this is removal attached to a 2 power body. This one only costs you 1, and yeah, when he dies, you give them a 1 power body, but I think Bitten is super playable. Happy to run it in my 2-drop slots. Base of Babel, this is literally just a valley in limited. Who cares? You're never gonna get the tower and the base in limited. I guess if you manage to draft the peak, you could go for it. Genesis, discard your top 2 spells. Yeah, you don't want this in limited. Like, I guess we can put this over here in the Joker category. Like, if you manage to get a bunch of zombie bruisers and the other minions that can come back from the grave, maybe you want to run this. Haystack, another card that I think is, I guess I'll put it as a 7. Like, you're gonna play it over a valley, but it's rare that it will get you any value that a valley didn't give you. Consecrated Ground. This one, I really don't know where I stand on it. It's so deck dependent. Evil has no power here. Means that your evil can't block there, but their evil can't do damage there. Like, yeah, it's definitely a build around card. If you're very strongly not playing evil, it can be really good. Fertile Earth is another one of those double thresholds. Great card. Definitely will pick it pretty high. And then Forlorn Keep, Ace tier, generates you a 3 power minion for 3. Just card advantage and bodies on the board. And there we go. We made it through. That's Earth. I mean, yeah, Earth is so strong in this set. The more I look at the Gothic cards, the more I play with them, the more I'm impressed by Earth, particularly for limited. I actually think for other formats, it's maybe not as impressive as it looks in limited because it lacks the tricks and whatnot. And then let's take a quick look at the multicolor and artifact cards. We got Toolbox. In sealed, Toolbox is incredible because it gives you access to your whole sealed pool. I think it's better in sealed than it is in draft because you have so much more collection. But I'll put it as a queen in draft and dipping up a little. Yeah, especially if you can hit some blooms, and then you can play off-color utility cards with it, or even just like use it to play a weathered tree trunk or something like that that's not in your element. Thumb screws, yeah, it's a cool idea, but you're never going to run it. Whenever a nearby avatar casts a spell, they lose life equal to the number of spells they pass this turn. We don't need to talk about that too much. And then we have the Sensu of the Fang. Bearer has +1 power and is an air spell caster. There's one of these for each element. If I end up with a Persecutor or a Blade Dancer, I will definitely draft these cards, but otherwise they're not playable. Pile of Skulls. So once on your turn, you may banish a card from a cemetery to summon a skeleton token here. To me, this card is too slow to be good. But I have seen it do some work. Like, I've seen a lot of people play it. I played it in a sealed pool early on. And, you know, it is a format that tends to run long. So if you hit turn 10, turn 11, then this starts feeling really good, right? I'll maybe put it in the 7s. You might play it sometimes. Meat Hook, bearer tap shoot a projectile. If it hits a unit, drag it here, and bearer may fight it when it arrives. I have not managed to play this card in Limited yet, so I can't speak from experience. I haven't seen it played against me either, but it feels pretty playable. Like, I don't know, maybe this is a 7 actually. This is that same thing where it doesn't do anything on its own is the problem. But if you've got a 10-ton slug or something big to put this on, you live in the dream. Mandrake Jar, same as Sensu Fan. Holy Water. This is some top tier removal in Gothic. 2 mana to shoot a tap. You get to tap one of your allies to do it. You shoot a projectile that banishes any evil it hits. I would definitely pick this in certain packs. It's weird to see it above Toolbox, but I think that's where it belongs. Definitely in draft. And sealed, Toolbox is A tier as well, is an ace. But you know, you don't really have to think about what to pick in sealed. You have to think about what to build with. These two are the other 2 of these 1 power artifacts. So again, just putting them here. There's some other nifty utility things you can do with them, but it's all only useful in very particular decks. Ferryman's Coin, unplayable. This is a collection card for Silver Bullet, in my opinion. Like, you banish 3 cards from a cemetery or gain 1 mana, but if you have Silver Bullet, you run that in your collection and it lets you deal with big cemetery problems. Driftwood Marrows. Nearby allies can't be submerged. 3 for 3. These guys are great. A 3 for 3 body that will go in any deck. Don't have to worry about threshold, and then it's got a little upside to protect your allies. There's maybe a couple scenarios where this is downside, but it's definitely way more likely to be upside than downside. Bullwhip. This is one that I heard Eric, the founder of Eric's Curiosa, talk about in an interview, and then I tried it out, and like the next sealed or draft, I forget which it was, I played, and I was like, oh yeah, this is good, huh? It's just 1 damage, but it's 1 damage every turn to anything adjacent to your avatar. You drop this on your avatar like turn 6, 7, maybe 8, depending on your curve a lot of the time. Then you just start moving forward with your avatar and like sniping skeletons, letting your minions trade up. It has a surprising amount of utility. Yeah, I just think Bullwhip is actually pretty darn good. I'll play it in most decks if I get it. I won't actually pick it super high because it's not what makes your deck run, but it does work in many decks. Deathrite, play your top sight to an adjacent void or rebel. So Clay Golem, super playable. Sort of a solid 3 power, a little overcosted, but you know, he pays you back by giving you a bonus sight. So that's the artifacts. Now we just got these multicolor cards. There's 5. I feel like there should be a 6. Am I doing my math wrong on that? 3. Yeah, there should be a 6th one of these. I wonder if I missed one or if I just skipped one of the color combinations. That's crazy. Air, water, water, earth. Water. There's 2 water, earth. Oh my gosh, so they did not like do this in a like we want to make it even kind of way. That's funny. I did not notice that. Let's start with the unplayable one. Scatter. Push everything at target location 1 step, 1 at a time. I mean, I shouldn't say it's unplayable. It's a low 7. If you're in air, water, this might be your 24th card. It is movement, and movement can do a lot in this game, but it's not removal and it's not a body on the board. Fatality. This one is basically, I guess we can put it in Joker, like if you're running Bullwhip, right, and then all of a sudden the fatality becomes crazy, like kill anything, right? You just Bullwhip it and then kill it. But most of the time you're not going to play fatality unless you have a deck that you know where you've got a bunch of static servants or what's that, air minion that jumps to something and does 2 damage to it, you know. So there's playability for fatality, but you have to know you have a critical number of things that are likely to wound an enemy without killing it. Onslaught. This one, is kind of the same idea of Witching Hour, but it gives your allies charge. So it can be a really good get them to death's door spell. You know, you just kind of give everything +1 power and charge, play this plus a 3 for 3 on turn 7 or 8. If you had like a little more board state, you can sort of leverage that into a really dominant position with this. But like you just heard me describe all the things that you have to align to make this work. I'm going to put this sort of a high 7. I'm not going to draft it super high, even if I know I'm fire earth, because it just doesn't guarantee usefulness. But it can be really good. Definitely if you're in some sort of crazy skeleton deck or something like that. Onslaught's super playable. Invigorate. An ally gains +3 power this turn and you heal 3. The second half of that is meaningless, basically, but giving someone +3 power, I mean, I called Necropotence pretty unplayable except in a specialty deck. I mean, this Necropotence was limited to undead, so this is, you know, another one that could be your 24th card, your 23rd card. It's not true hard removal, but you should usually be able to kill something with this. And last of all, my actual favorite of the dual colored cards, Harvest Festival. Summon an Eltham and a Sarava townsfolk from your collection to an allied site. Those are each 2 power bodies, so this is pay 3, get 4 power. Like, if that's what it said on the card, more obviously, I think everyone would think, like, oh, this is great. Like, 3 mana for 4 power, love it. But because of, you know, what it looks, I don't know, it's just funny. Like, it's a card that looks so peaceful. I love the art on it, too. Some beautiful art. And I think it's actually a super solid staple. I mean, it's better than a 3 for 3, so I'm going to put it in any deck that can play it. And then our last card is Ghost Town. You know, if your threshold is really good, right, like, one, if you manage to draft, or if you have a sealed pool that can pull off a mono element deck, then you would definitely play Ghost Town. But if you're playing 2 elements or 3, if you're playing 3 elements, you're definitely not playing Ghost Town. If you're playing 2 elements and both of your elements stick to 2 or less threshold on all of their cards, you might want to play Ghost Town. It is nice having that ramp, getting something really threatening out a little earlier can be really potent in limited, so I'll put it, you know, kind of right here on the line. And there we did it. I kind of lost my voice in doing it, but we went through all of the exceptionals in Gothic. So I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah.